Hi everybody, and welcome back to another Legends of Runeterra video. Today, this actually was released yesterday, and then just kind of on a whim, I decided to wait till today to address in the chance that we got more card reveals. Card reveals coming at us again, which is super interesting for the upcoming event to do with Ruination and Viego, and this is kind of baffling to me actually, because we're getting like new cards so early after the expansion. That's just kind of unheard of when you kind of think of the event, right? I was thinking it was going to be more like KDA, where you got like a card from each region or something, but like it is looking as if we're going to be getting quite a few cards in each region, which is kind of cool. But then also, you know, brings up a couple of other questions. That doesn't take away from its coolness. Like, are we getting new champions with this as well? Is Viego going to come to the game? Are we going to get some sort of, you know, champion reveals that have to do with Ruination? And how does that work with Shadow Isles receiving a new champion? So this could really go anywhere. I'm not really sure how to react to this. At the moment, I would say the safest bet is we might get Viego. I'd say like a 50-50 chance, but that is probably the only champion that we're going to get, and then all the others are going to be champion skins, as you will see today, which again is pretty interesting. If anybody has any other information at this point, go ahead and tell me. I don't know, they've been kind of keeping their cards close to their chest, so we'll see what happens here. So I'm going to go ahead and probably review these cards every other day, and then do gameplays the other days. So yeah, I should have, you know, decent content for the coming week here, and yeah, should be pretty interesting to watch as this stuff is revealed. And with that said, let's go ahead and look at these cards and what they are. Alright, so this first card here is a 7-drop from Shurima, an epic card. And sorry, this quality is pretty bad. It will probably clear up here in a second. It's always how it is on Twitter. But Thrumming Swarm and Overwhelm, 7 cost, 8/4, epic. So we already know that this card is going to be trashed because it's an epic card. When I'm summoned, create a copy of me in hand if you've leveled a champion this game. So we've had this thematic. I'm not going to say it's an archetype, because there's only a couple of units that are like this, where you get like the Golden Ambassador, for example, where you get a boost for leveling up your champion. Now this is harder than it was at the initial release of the set with Azir, because he was recently nerfed. So you have to have summoned, I think it's 13 Sand Soldiers now, in order to level him up, and that is pretty much the easiest champion, I would say, that to level up at this point in Shurima. Alright, when I'm summoned, create a copy of me in hand. So yeah, we just get a copy of a 7-cost card that we can play later. That pretty much sucks, because it's pretty expensive. You're not going to be able to play this until turn 7 unless we get some sort of cost reduction card in Shurima. I just don't see this, you know, working, and it has to be cost reduction everywhere, because this isn't create an exact copy, this is create a copy. So it will be this original stat line and also cost. And that 7 cost is just not, it's just too slow, and you're not, I think, getting enough stats out of it to really make a whole bunch of use out of it. So that's my opinion. Let's move on to the next one. We got a full art here. RIMEFANG DENMOTHER. So this is actually pretty cool. I like seeing a continuation of cards and card types. So of course we've seen the RIMEFANG Wolf, which is kind of going to be included in this sort of set, where not set, but you know, like set of RIMEFANGs that we haven't really seen before. That's pretty cool. So when I'm summoned, summon a RIMEFANG pack, grant it +1/+1 for each time you have frostbitten enemies this game. So this card is a 6-cost 5/5, so I mean, decent stat line, not the best for a 6-drop. I mean, there are definitely others, but we're creating another unit, which is why the stat line is a little bit, I guess, less than you would expect. So this is Frostbite Synergy that creates another card that's going to get +1/+1 for each time you have used Frostbite on an enemy. So that's pretty cool. Let's move on to the RIMEFANG pack, which is a 1-drop, of course, just a token card being summoned. And it is going to have +1/+1 for each time that you have frostbitten somebody. So I mean, it is out of the realm of possibilities that by turn 6 you've frostbitten probably 5 times. I would say is a decent it's probably the cap of where you're going to be at turn 6. That's around the time that you're leveling up Ash, so you can use that as kind of a basis for how many frostbites. Ash needs 5 to level up. Around turn 6 seems pretty good, 6 or 7. So this is going to be a 6/6 with Overwhelm when you play that on turn 6. So not, I mean, at the best, right? It's a pretty good card, honestly. I think that it is going to take the spot of any other card in like an Ash LeBlanc or Ash Sejuani deck? I don't think so. I think the other cards are just a little bit too important. And at 6 mana, there's like other cards that just do it better than this RIMEFANG pack and RIMEFANG DENMOTHER, like the Yetis, the new Yetis and things like that. Those seem like really solid cards that we're getting for a lot better value. And yeah, don't cost 6 mana to put out. So I don't really see this getting a whole lot of play. Experimentation for sure. And maybe there's another deck that is outside of kind of the Ash reputation, Ash Trifarian sort of archetype that we've seen. Yeah, pretty cool card art. Alright, and the last one here is Ruined Rex, and this is kind of another cool card where we kind of get an expansion of storytelling through the art and through Legends of Runeterra. So really cool. Riptide Rex, of course, is the card here that is linked to this Ruined Rex. A 5-drop from Bilgewater now, so not an 8-drop, it's a 5-drop. So play, cast Cannon Barrage on randomly targeted enemies for each card you've drawn this round, up to 5 times. So very similar to Riptide Rex. Riptide Rex, of course, is a plunder. It's doing it 6 times. And then the cap on Ruined Rex is 5, which seems pretty decent for a 5-drop. It is fairly difficult, I would say, to get to 5 draws in 1 round, right? And it has to be on the same round that you played this card. So automatically your mana is going to be a little bit restricted to how many, units that you're going, or times you're going to be able to get card draw. We can sort of work around that because on turn 4 we can play like pick a card or the what's the one drop, the pool shark, right? Where we get fleeting cards the next round and get, if we play both of those, then it's draw 4 and we get 4 cannon barrages for 5 mana, which is pretty good. So yeah, there are some ways to work around it. Stat line pretty atrocious. 3/3 is pretty awful. But I mean that is pretty standard for a unit that has a strong ability. So yeah, I think this is a pretty cool card, like a different sort of flavor for for Riptide Rex that synergizes with another archetype rather than plunders. So it's working more with kind of the Twisted Fate draw. That's really cool. And then yeah, just we get kind of this expansion of storytelling. So the card itself is decent, I think, for what it's doing, and then will only fit into a draw archetype, which kind of like the Thrumming Swarm or whatever it's called over here. It was kind of nerfed passively because of the champions. The same thing with Ruined Rex. Twisted Fate has been nerfed, the kind of draw archetype and things this last patch, even with oh man, the discard draw 2 mana now. I guess it's kind of early, can't remember the names. Anyway, yeah, we just have had some nerfs to the draw archetype that have not helped. Rummage, there we go. Rummage was nerfed. So anyway, let's go on to the next set of cards here from today. So what we have today, so the Shyvana reference in the title of the Twitter, or in the text of the Twitter tweet. Yeah, dragons, super cool here. So you can see here, this is a dragon, a 6-cost Demacia card. KADRICAN the Ruined, 6-drop. KADRICAN the Infernals, a 9-drop. So coming out a little earlier with Fury. Play, grant an ally champion or dragon challenger. Yeah. How is this any better than Stalking Broodmother, who is coming out on the same turn and who has Scout? This is granting an ally champion or dragon challenger. I think this card is understated, to be honest. There is another 6-drop dragon coming out, and it's better, and it doesn't get play. And that's just me being honest. Is it worth granting challenger to a unit on turn 6? I don't think so. I mean, and it has kind of vanilla stat line. Of course, it's got Fury, so it's going to be able to start getting buffed a little bit more. But, I mean, I don't think this card is getting play. I just don't. It doesn't have a keyword, so I mean, I think it's even worse than Screeching Dragon. Even coming out on turn 6, should be with a better stat line. I think that this card is worse than Screeching Dragon. I think it's worse than Firebrand Protector from Targon with Spell Shield. I mean, it's granted allied champion or dragon. It's even restricted in who you can give it to. So I mean, yeah, not a big fan of the design of this card. I mean, the art's cool. So I mean, like the actual text and how it works, yeah, I wish they would have done a little bit better. Yeah, the art's cool. All right, Ruined Dragon Guard, a 3-drop again from Demacia. When an ally with Fury kills a unit, granted an additional +1/+1. Now this card, on the other hand, is completely opposite from KADRICAN. This takes the Dragon Guard Lieutenant and makes him even better. This is an amazing card. I really like this. So there's not really any 3-drop dragon that you're getting out anyway. And I personally in my dragon decks don't really like running the Herald of Dragons. And so like getting Siobhan out on turn 3 usually doesn't matter for me. This is an amazing 3-drop, I think, for the dragon archetype. Imagine having this engine out that is granting your units, your dragons, even more stats from killing a unit, which protects their health, it gives them more attack. It is just really, really good. I mean, this synergizes with Dragon Chow as well. So we put Dragon Chow turn 1, get this on turn 3, Shyvana turn 4. We get card draw from killing the Dragon Chow, and we get +2/+2 on Shyvana before an attack potentially. This is an awesome card. I really like this. Sometimes these cards look good on paper, but then when you try playing them, they're just kind of awkward. That may be the case for this one. We'll have to wait and see. But, like, it looks good. This looks like a solid card. It's a 2/4, which has a decent health stat. So, I mean, it is a little bit weak for a 3-drop. Actually, it's probably pretty standard, to be honest. Plus, it has an amazing ability. I really like this card for the Dragon archetype. Really, really cool. And he's sitting up Catherine like a boss. Alright, now this is where things get interesting here. A 2-drop dragon from Shadow Isles. And I think, again, I'm really impressed by kind of this evolution of the dragon archetype. They're taking this Ruination event and using it as a catalyst to introduce archetypes to different regions, it looks like. And this is what's happening here. We're getting dragons in Shadow Isles, which we haven't had before. That is awesome. This is exactly what I like to see in the game. I talked last week when Echo was revealed. I was kind of disappointed with how they kind of barred him into the Shurima Piltover's on archetype in order to even play him. And personally, I think he's a little weak. That's my personal thoughts of Echo. Now, this kind of takes it into the opposite direction where we had this archetype dragons. It's kind of limited to Targon, Demacia, and now we're introducing dragons and other archetypes with a theme, and that is really cool. I mean, how many dragons are we going to get in Shadow Isles? Probably not a lot. In fact, today may be the only dragons we get in Shadow Isles forever. But this is still cool. It promotes experimentation with this archetype in other regions, and I really like that. All right, so now we've talked about that enough. Let's actually talk about the card. Crawling VIPERWYM, Fury, play, I strike an ally or deal 3 to your Nexus. So we haven't really seen a 2-drop dragon before, and the Dragonling doesn't count. So the ephemeral one created by Eye of the Dragon. This is a playable turn 2 dragon. from Shadow Isles with 3 health or 3 attack, which is important because it needs to be able to kill the Dragon Chow if you're putting that together. So just keep that in mind. So this is a 2-drop that could potentially kill Dragon Chow on turn 2, become a 4/3 on turn 2 with Fury. Now it does have a downside, right? So I strike an ally or deal 3 to your Nexus. I'm guessing that if you play this down on turn 2 with Dragon Chow, it kills the Dragon Chow. Just well, actually, I'm not sure which one comes out first. You probably would target the Dragon Chow and then it would just strike it, right? So we don't get like a negative, but like if, for example, you're running this in like a kill deck with Cursed Keeper, you can probably strike the Cursed Keeper and then it will also proc on Dragon Chow. So yeah, say you play this turn 3, you play Dragon Chow turn 1, Cursed Keeper turn 2, turn 3 you target the Cursed Keeper, it automatically kills the Dragon Chow. This becomes a 5/4 on turn 3, which is super powerful. And I did look, in case you guys are wondering, Fury states that if when I kill a unit, it doesn't specify an enemy or ally, it's a unit. So it should work for both of, well, we already know it works for Dragon Chow. So this should work with killing like Shadow Isles units as well, or will work. Really cool, actually, a super cool card. This actually may be more powerful than you guys think. Now, I mean, there is a downside. If you don't have a unit out, you're dealing 3 to your Nexus. I don't think that's going to be much of a problem, especially in Shadow Isles, where you can just pair this with kind of the sacrifice archetype and really get some pretty good value out of this card. I mean, it's pretty much never coming down as a 3/2. It's always going to be a 4/3. If you're building this right, and that is really, really strong for a 2-drop. One thing to actually note about that real quick is that Stalking Shadows was nerfed, but this card does not really synergize with Stalking Shadows. Just because once it strikes, if you put down like the ephemeral copy and you target it to strike, it's just going to die. Alright. This card here, we've got the Camivoran Dragon, a 4-drop again from Shadow Isles, another Shadow Isles card. This is Fearsome Fury 4-drop, so it's taking up the same slot as White Flame Protector and Shyvana. Play, I strike an ally or deal 3 to your Nexus, so it's exactly the same sort of stipulation as the last one. We just barely talked about that, right? When I slay a unit, drain 1 from the enemy Nexus. So this, again, is a pretty cool ability. So this is going to work on the strikes with your units, right? If you kill it, then it's going to drain 1. This synergizes with things like Kindred, of course, since it's a Slay proc. It synergizes with Nasus because it's a Slay proc. So really, really cool sort of introduction here again to this dragon archetype that's going to let us experiment with Shyvana and Kindred. That's really cool. We could use Kindred again with Nasus. Just really, really cool. I really like the theme here and what they're doing with it, and yeah, I'm excited about these dragons. Then we get kind of this drain 1, this sort of extra burn as well with this dragon on slays. So pretty cool, and it's not restricted to one time around either. So I mean, we could use Judgment on this, do a full board wipe, and drain 6 at the same time. Not that that's going to be very common, but it could happen. And now we're just, it looks like, getting skins for Shyvana. So this is what I expect to happen with most of the champions that they introduce kind of new cards for here. Rather than getting new champions, just skins for them. But it is kind of interesting that we very recently got a Shyvana skin, and now they're doing another one. Really cool here. I'm going to probably just cut it short here. I think I introduced what I wanted to pretty well. Yeah, I'm excited. Do you guys think we're getting a new champion? Have you heard any news about a new champion like Viego coming to the game with this? Let me know. Or is it just going to be new cards? We started pretty early on these reveals. This is Sunday, right? And the Ruination event doesn't start until I think it's the 14th, so that's next Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, but next. So I'm guessing we're going to be getting card reveals every day, and that's going to equal about to the same amount as this last expansion if we get the like 4 cards every day. That's exciting. Really cool. Should shake up the meta once again with this event. So I mean, I'm all for new cards. I'm excited and a little surprised that we're getting them so soon. Anyway, that's it. Did I miss anything? What do you guys think about these new cards? Are you guys excited for this event? Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow with more Legends of Runeterra gameplay rather than card reveals. We'll hit you with the card reveals in 2 days if we have more. So anyway, we'll see you tomorrow.